Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to be talking to all of you who want to get to college, but don't feel like you've been involved enough, not enough extracurriculars. Well, we're going to talk about whether you can still get into college despite not having much extracurricular activities in this video. So stay tuned and stay to the end. All right, so you're trying to decide that you want to get into a college, but man, I haven't been doing anything, not involved in extracurriculars. But we're going to talk about why that matters, why extracurriculars matter. And when we talk about that, you'll be able to figure out, oh, what counts as extracurriculars? So maybe you can present things that you did that could count that way. And then we want to be able to tell the stories, right? We keep talking about that in a number of these videos. So that and a little bit more, we're going to be covering this video so you can begin to shape your application to highlight the things that you have done, the extracurriculars that you can discover that you have actually been involved in. All right, let's begin by putting yourself in a college's position. Why would they be interested in extracurricular activities in the first place? And what they're trying to find out is what you can bring to the school beyond just academics. Colleges don't just want people who are going to be in the library doing their reading work constantly, right? They don't want somebody who's just that one-dimensional. A community, which a college becomes, wants to see well-rounded people. They want to build a culture and a climate in a community. They want students to feel good about being able to go watch some athletics, right? So you need people who be involved in that, and theater and music and the arts and community service within that community. All these things are extracurricular that's going on at the college, and they want to see that you've done that beforehand so that they know that you'll kind of fit into the community. Now, having said that, the National Association for College Admissions Counseling has said that's really kind of at the bottom. Academics, your personal character and your story that you tell will carry more weight to get in than looking and seeing, oh, this person was involved in this, out in club, and key club, and this club, and that club. That has lower weight than the other two things. So you want to keep that in mind, but also understand what the schools are actually looking for when they look at the extracurriculars. What is it telling them? So if you begin to do an analysis of how you're spending your time, it's one reason why I love to encourage people to do time audits, so you know where your time's going. But many people have this idea that extracurricular is being involved in these school clubs, school sports, school band music programs, the theater, right? Maybe some community things, maybe 4-H club or some other community club or organization. That's extracurricular. Yes, it is. But so can babysitting be, a job, taking care of your grandmother, taking care of younger siblings. There are lots of things that you're doing that are extra, that have valuable skills and have taught you an awful lot. And you just need to understand what it is you've been learning from that so that you can highlight that, highlight how that's changed you, what it's taught you, how it's made you grow, how it has helped you to become the person who's going to be able to go to the school and provide a really valuable personal character, and you're going to fit in, you're going to add value to that community based on those other things. So please do not have a really narrow view of what counts as an extracurricular activity. It does not need to be all these school-based clubs and all. Those are great, but there are a lot of things you are spending your time on because you have to, that can count as extracurricular activities. And let me talk to you now about putting together an application package. And I'm not necessarily going to talk about, the frills of it, things that you might do to stand out in terms of the actual presentation of this package. but you want to be able to take a look, take an inventory of the things that you have done. So yeah, transcripts need to be in there. You need to have your test scores in there. You need to have those academic pieces, maybe a little portfolio piece to show some work that you've done academically. Then you want to look at what else you've done. Now, if you haven't been involved in school-related stuff because maybe you've had to work too to help take care of your family, maybe you've had to take care of your younger brothers or sisters, think about those things for a moment. What did you do? What can you showcase there? What were the lessons that you need to learn? How are you going to show those lessons? How are you going to put that together in a package? What sort of recommendations can you get? Who else has seen you do this? Could you maybe get videos of you teaching your siblings, helping take care of them by actually helping them with their homework and their schoolwork? Those little clips, those little moments, wow, can be really powerful. Can you maybe bring in some of their friends to show that you actually ran a little school, right? Those things, well, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Video is worth immensely more than that. So that is what you want to begin to think about, framing what you've done, showcasing things, getting your letters of recommendation to point out those sort of character traits that you exhibited through these activities outside of school that will go to the college and go, oh, wow, this person's really got it together. That's what you want to showcase. That's the message that you want to deliver. Recently, I met somebody who's a few years younger than me, actually, but what a story. This guy's been a serial entrepreneur, and his journey began as a 6-year-old. And it's a great story, but it's going to really showcase this point. So when he was 6, his parents were in a car dealership, and began at a young age, and he'd have him in, and he'd have to like wash hubcaps and stuff, right? So he's earning his allowance by kind of working for the family. He's learning a work ethic. That's what they're trying to teach him. Both mom and dad are kind of working there, so they can kind of keep an eye on him. And, he does that for a year or two. And then he's like, Mom, I think I should be getting paid for this. And mom's like, no, this is like one of the chores that you need to do. You're learning this, blah, blah, blah. Well, he decided that that's not right. I'm gonna make some money. So I was like, I think he said he was like 7, and he went to his grandmother who makes these sweet treats. I don't even remember. It was it was an ethnic kind of dessert, and he said that like, oh, this world. Anybody who's ever had his grandma's whatever it was just raved about him. So he went to the idea that, Grandma, if you could make some of these, I want to go and set up a table at the car dealership, and we're going to sell these to customers and stuff. We'll sell them for $1 or 50 cents, whatever it was. So that's what they did, and sold out like in no time. And 7 years old, he's reinvesting in his business. He keeps building this up, and they start getting more grandmas to come in and cooking right there at the home and selling these things, and starts expanding what he's doing and begins to learn like all the codes and stuff that he's got to follow. And by the time he's in high school, he's not doing any extracurriculars because he's going to school and he's working. He's running this business. Well, when he's 17 years old, he sold this business for over $1 million. Now, take the money aside, right? Take that out of the equation. If he had just sold it for a little bit, do you really think that a college would say, oh, guy wasn't involved in any extracurriculars, and you know what? He didn't even really have a great GPA, but that he was running this business that was basically going to pay for his college? That's the kind of story that is possible. And no extracurriculars for this guy, but yeah, he got into a college with no problems. I got to tell you the story of a guy I just met. just a couple of weeks ago, actually. I was at a business group, and wow, man, this guy, what a story. And these are all successful entrepreneurs here. And he was a few years younger than me, but he's talking about his entrepreneurial journey and how it began as a 6-year-old. That's right, 6-year-old. His parents ran like a car dealership, and as a young boy, when he'd have to come home from kindergarten, what have you, going there because both mom and dad worked there, and they had to kind of keep an eye on him. To teach him work ethic, they'd have him like washing the cars and washing hubcaps and just vacuuming things out. Something a 6-year-old could do without much difficulty. And by the time he's 7, he's like demanding money, more money, more money. Well, mom and dad's like, no, we feed you, we clothe you, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff mom and dad might say. So this young boy, entrepreneurial spirit, went to his grandmother and said, I got an idea. You make the best, and he mentioned this ethnic kind of dessert that was like really good, cannoli, or I don't know, whatever it was. And like everybody raved about it. So he had her make a bunch, and he set up a table at the car dealership, and they sold out. Well, he was smart enough, learned enough. Over the years, began to reinvest. He was able to start expanding out, figured out all the codes and all the things he needed to do community-wise. Before he even gets to high school, they've actually rented out a commercial kitchen. By the time he's in high school, this is now a full-time catering business. He sold the business when he was 17 years old. He sold it for enough to pay for college and more. Sold it for over $1 million. Now, regardless of that price that he sold it for, he didn't, extracurriculars, this is business. That was his extracurricular. Average student, right? GPA wasn't great, but you don't think colleges would want somebody like that coming to their school? Of course they did. And he got in to a college. Well, we've come to the end of yet another video. And again, it's important to understand that with a lot of these things, people don't think they can get into college for whatever reason. And that's just simply not true. As always, I would encourage you to subscribe to our channel, check out other videos. In fact, you might be interested in the video, how to get into college with a low GPA. Check that out, all of them. Come back and see us in another, and I will see you soon.